I really need to stop choosing bad movies to review. Welcome to Rotten Damians. Today we are reviewing Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I'm not sure why I was expecting a groundbreaking movie, considering it's a Winnie the Pooh horror movie. However, it does have some good moments. I'm also excited to see how this movie revolutionizes the horror genre. I already saw some talk of revisiting the unproduced 1984 Garfield First Blood. The movie has a budget of $100,000, so taking a page out of Cabin Fever Part 2, they utilize animation because it's cheaper. I like the animation because I feel like it drives the story forward and it pays some credit to the original Winnie the Pooh we love. In a nutshell, the animation tells us that Christopher Robin became friends with the animals and used to steal food for them. But Chris got older and left for medical school, so his friends were left to fend for themselves. They were unable to feed themselves, so they resorted to eating Eeyore. The trauma of eating a friend forced the animals to turn feral and eat the rich protein diet of human flesh. 5 years later, Christopher returns to 100 Acre Woods to visit his old friends and introduce them to his wife. The acting is bad and there's no real chemistry between these two.
I'm here to support you.
The couple find their way to the animal's home.
I'm here to protect you.
Just remember this line. They enter the house and the wife finds a picture with Chris's face crossed out. They then hear Pooh arrive home with his heavy footsteps. The footsteps indicate his power and make him seem menacing. The two hide while Pooh falls asleep. Eventually, nightfall comes, so the couple escape, but unfortunately, they run into Piglet. This little piggy has a chain that he uses to choke and eventually snap Chris's wife's neck.
I'm here to protect you.
Chris literally does nothing except stand there and scream. Chris makes a run for it, but Pooh and Piglet box him into a cave. They grab him and we switch to another animation where we see Christopher is cooked and eaten. Holy shit, 13 minutes into the movie and they killed Chris. I kinda dislike that they killed Chris and his wife so soon. They had two perfect protagonists whom we are already aware of, but instead they decided to kill them off and introduce a new group of ladies. I have no problem with most of the cast being female. I do, however, have a problem with the fact that one of the main reasons our protagonists are female is for sex appeal and nudity. I understand that there's a lot of sex and nudity in slasher horror movies. However, the writing is usually organized enough for it to make sense. But in this movie, the nudity is just pointless. You'll see later. The leader of our new protagonist is named Maria, and this therapy session scene is completely pointless. It only exists as an excuse for Maria to gather her girl pals and go on a
Weekend away.
Obviously, their vacation is in 100 Acre Woods. One of Maria's friends, Tina, leaves late and gets lost on her way to the cabin. She gets spotted by a wild Pooh who makes a break for it. I kinda enjoyed him sprinting towards her because generally in slasher movies, the antagonist just takes a slow stroll catching his victim. But Pooh, he's a go-getter. Tina hides in the animal shed behind a wood chipper. I'm sure you can guess where this is going. Pooh grabs her and during the struggle her top somehow rips off. This is what I mean about the pointless nudity. There was no need for her top to come off. He bangs her head against the machine and throws her body into the chipper. Mince for dinner, I guess. I can't show you, but in the gory scenes, the blood is added as a special effect, so it looks animated and fake, but I guess it's the best they could do considering their budget. Oh, so Chris is alive. I guess they cooked and ate his wife in that animated scene. Also, in a few scenes you'll see Pooh has this weird transparent syrup dripping from his face. I thought it was drool because he wants to eat his victims, but it's actually honey. I've never seen any transparent honey, but okay. The scene with Chris is also pointless. He just pleads for his life, which causes Pooh to have a moral crisis, but ultimately he swallows his good and begins whipping Chris with his wife's hair. I highly doubt human hair would have the potential to rip skin like this. Stupid scene, but then again, this movie has no story. After Pooh's whipping workout, he smells Lara from the middle of the woods. Remember that he can smell humans because this power is not consistent throughout the movie. Lara takes thirst traps in the hot tub and she sees Pooh in the background of her pictures. But instead of being scared, she decides,
Whatever.
Spoken like a true B-grade horror movie. Nobody in real life would ignore this and continue tubbing when someone is stalking you. Pooh and Piglet inch closer in the background and grab her. They tie her up and start the car. Piglet stands on her, so she stays in place, and Pooh decides he's going to ride over her head. The car crash scene is well done, and at least this movie's kills are creative. Her friends hear her scream and found her body by the car, so they run inside for safety. The girls decide
To stick together and find a weapon.
but obviously the exact opposite happens. Alice and Zoe go to the pool where Piglet comes swimming in and knocks Alice out. Zoe jumps into the pool so she can do some laps, but Piglet isn't a fan of cardio. so he tries to stop her. He gets into the pool and in true slasher fashion, he slowly walks towards her. The scene is pretty stressful while Zoe tries to walk away, but her clothes weigh her down. In this scene, it would make sense for her to remove some layers so that she can swim faster, not during a wood chipper struggle. Piglet catches her and hits her for a home run, killing her. Jessica and Maria follow the animals who have taken Alice as hostage. This is where I had a problem with Pooh's magic nose. He could smell Lara from the middle of the woods, but he can't smell Jess and Maria, who are literally a few feet away from him. The girls untie Alice and come across Chris. After untying him, they hear another cry for help. Are we seriously going to introduce a new character an hour into this movie? Don't we have enough people to kill? They untie Charlene, the most annoying character in this movie. She sees her bloodied face, which I'm sure isn't even that bad. After she washes it, she begins screaming and crying, making a major noise. But thankfully, she decides to channel her rage into murder. Piglet! I hate when these people develop a hero complex. Just get out and call the cops who can actually deal with this. She tries to shoot Piglet, but the gun is jammed or it has no ammo, and she backs into Pooh, who simply knocks her down, drizzles her in honey, and begins munching on her. Okay, now she can be upset about her face. The girls split up, and Alice, inspired by Charlene, hits Piglet with a hammer to the face. I guess I could understand her hero complex because her girlfriend was murdered by the pig. She ties Piglet up and starts beating on him until she builds to the final blow to his head, killing him. His death alerts Pooh because apparently they are linked or something, so Pooh heads back to the camp, stabbing a knife into Alice's throat in true Michael Myers fashion. The two survivors found their way to the main road where a car stops to help them. Some tough looking people get out of the car and start beating Pooh, but everything they do does no damage to him. Okay, so Piglet can die with a hammer to the head, but Pooh can survive a 4-person beating with crowbars and bats. It must be all the honey he drinks. Anyway, after Pooh's beating, he retaliates with a handful of bees that he uses to kill the gang. You can't make this up. He literally slices their throats and removes their skin with bees in his hands. So dumb. The girls start the car and drive over him. This part annoys me because they hit him with the truck and they're just out of the car there. Like, bro, back up and hit him again. Or just keep driving. Pooh climbs onto the back of their buggy, so Maria speeds up and slams on brakes, sending him flying. Maria, dazed, watches Pooh throw Jessica's decapitated head onto the car. He then grabs her, wanting to slit her throat, but Chris comes to her rescue by ramming the car into Pooh.
I'm here to protect you.
Chris and Maria have a tender moment, but they obviously haven't seen enough horror movies because the killer always comes back. Pooh wakes up and slits Maria's throat before throwing her into Chris. Chris comforts her during her death, which I thought was a little bit odd considering they just met a few minutes ago, but I guess it's comforting dying in someone's arms. Chris then runs away while Pooh repeatedly stabs Maria's head, I guess to avenge Piglet, and that's the movie. I'm assuming they were setting up for a sequel by allowing Chris to escape, but I really hope that doesn't happen. If it does happen, you know where you'll find the review. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like, comment and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and for me to reach my goals. Okay, my review. I thought the movie had some good moments, like the Pooh running scene and the opening animation, but the movie had no real story, terrible visual effects, and no character development. For this reason, I give the movie 2 Rotten Damians out of 10. I was shocked that they sold the rights for this caliber of a movie, but I now see that the rights actually expired last year, so Winnie the Pooh is public domain, which actually explains a lot. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.